I'm the coordinator of the seniors programs here at Beaver Valley Outreach. And I have been doing that with Beaver Valley Outreach since 2012 when we started those programs. Because we are in a rural area, we are linked and involved on an ongoing basis with other community groups. I have a background in policy at Queen's Park in the 90s, and that policy background was in wife assault, sexual assault, alcohol and drug recovery, and community and neighborhood support services. I did teach college for a couple of years in community worker programs and social policy, and moved up to this area in 1993 with my two sons. And I've been here ever since. That's a really good question. The what did you think you knew? I had run many sessions with OPP, with the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre. I'd run many sessions in the community where we brought in expert speakers to talk about fraud and scams, and the whole variety of them. We put that on the conference agenda at our seniors conference on an annual basis. And I thought I was pretty aware, and much more aware than other people. And it turned out that all that awareness didn't actually come into practice. I just thought I knew enough to avoid them. You know, I work, so I have a computer and I have a cell phone and I do email. There's some things about social media I'm not fond of, and I steer away from that, I must say. But I'm pretty, you know, my computer is 3 months old. I've got another new computer, and I love my cell phone. Well, my kids wouldn't say I'm tech savvy, but I think I'm tech savvy. Yeah. It was a Friday afternoon, and I was checking email, and I got an email that I thought came from a colleague here at BVO. And the email said, "We are traveling," and this was a couple that travel a lot. She said, "and we're on our way, we're on a ship to Barcelona." I knew they did cruises, so all seemed consistent. "Could you pick up, it's my niece's birthday, I forgot it, can you pick up a $300 iTunes card for her?" And I thought, she's actually one of my volunteers here. I know her well. I will see if I can manage this tech thing. So off I went to the supermarket, and I was so proud I found the iTunes cards. I bought the $300 card, and the next day, but it was late, so the next day I got on the computer, and as per the instructions in the email I got, I sent them the number on the back of the card. I thought, oh, I did it. I managed to do that. And I got an email back about an hour later saying, there's two numbers on the back of the card. So we need both the numbers. So I thought, oh, damn, I didn't get it done perfectly, but almost there. Sent the other number in. And I was thinking, okay, my tech skills are increasing. This is great. And the next morning, I got another email from that same email address. And it was the two first names of the people. That was the email address. So I thought it's from them. And the message was, we need another iTunes card, a $500 one. I thought, this is not a good thing. This is not. So I phoned them at home. So this was a work colleague, so I didn't phone her at home very often at that point. And I phoned her, and they were there. She said, "Oh, they got you too." I said, "Oh dear." I said, "I feel so stupid. All those sessions that we have run on fraud and scams, I didn't even know how this one actually worked, but I knew it was out there." And what she said, this was very comforting in a way. She said, "Well," she said, "you're not the only one." She said, "But you know who should feel stupid?" And I said, "Who's that?" She said, "My brother. My niece is his daughter. He should know it's not her birthday." This was for the niece's birthday that they wanted the iTunes cards for. So she said, "My own brother, her father, got caught, and he bought them one too." It was the name on the email address that sold me. It was the two first names of these people that I work with here. they're two volunteers here, a couple, and the context was right. They said they were traveling. This is a couple that travels a lot. They said they were on their way to Europe, sailing. They do cruises fairly often. I hadn't known they were going, but I wouldn't necessarily know they were going. So the context was there that fit their lifestyle. iTunes, that would give me context because I knew about those iTunes scams. I didn't really know how they worked, but I knew about iTunes scams. And I'd never bought an iTunes card in my life, nor have I ever bought one since. So I didn't really know much about them. But what I should have done, I thought to myself, why did I do that? Why did I follow through? Because it looked so genuine, which all the scams do, or most of them do. So it was done well. I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. I thought, I can't believe, and how can I have done all of these work sessions and done all of this focusing on preventing the abuse of older adults and not have known? How did I get caught? And I thought, never ever be too assured. The email address, I thought, well, the email address isn't right, but it's got the names right. Maybe they have another email address lots of people have more than one email address. So I thought, I didn't know they had that email address. But their names in it, that's because it was the names in the email address, and that's not their usual. The only thing that was unusual, that was it. I had had email from her. I had had some email from him. I had never had one that came and named them, but no address that had never aimed the boat. But the names were spelled properly. The English name, the French name, they were all spelled properly. So I thought, well, they've got some other address that's a joint one for the two of them. It's meant that every time I approach a group about fraud and scams, that I'm very comfortable telling people about my experience, because I think that facilitates other people. Even if it doesn't facilitate them sharing their own experience, it can help them feel easier and listen. I need to be more vigilant. Quite angry. Yes. $300 it's a lot of money for me. Okay, I've now moved over from this being part of the informed group to being the vulnerable group. I'm much ruder than I used to be. And when it's one of those calls and the voice starts going, I just go scam, 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 and hang up. That's it. End of story. It's a constant reminder. If I see a phone number that I don't recognize, I just block it immediately, which I wouldn't have done before. I might have investigated. Now I don't investigate. I just block immediately. Because I think it's safer that way. And for instance, I got 3 or 4 weeks ago. I have a new computer, new to me. What's new? And that I got in October or November. And we had some difficulty with transferring information from new to old computers. And the new computer, I was doing something, and all of a sudden, all these warnings started to flash. Warning, warning, you've got a virus, dude. Your Windows 10 may have been compromised. I don't have Windows 10 on it, it has Windows 11 on it. I was afraid, so I didn't touch the computer. I thought, I'm not touching this. And before I might have investigated, but I've learned don't respond to those things. So then I went back to Staples, which had loaded up the computer, and said, okay, I'm getting these messages. And that was kind of interesting because they didn't have their tech person there. They said, well, you have to come back tomorrow. So then I had no computer to use unless I came in here. And the next day when I went back, we looked, and it was a scam. There was no virus. There was nothing I had to do. But when I got back to Staples, there was no antivirus program on my computer. They'd forgotten to install it. So at least I got that fixed. If I don't recognize it, I just simply I'll go through my email, anything I don't recognize that I've received before, anything that doesn't look like it's from any reputable place that I know of, I just click on all of them and delete everything. Makes going through my email much quicker. And before, I would have been worried that I might miss something important. If there's something important, somebody will find a way to get through to me. I often say to people, if something appears on your computer or on your phone that's really confusing, it's not that there's something wrong with you. There are many confusing things out there, and you don't have to follow them, and you don't have to deal with them. I think it's important. I encourage people to learn as much as they can about their phone and about their computer. And in order to make that feasible, I have organized the tech person at our library here and I are organizing sessions about phones, what your phone can do for you. Bring your phone and we'll work on these things. And you've got an expert person. We make it a lunch and learn kind of environment, so there's some social built in, so people can see they're not the only person who doesn't know what their tech equipment can do.